we're now going to wrap the rod in thread. This will hold the guides in place and reinforce the ferrules. You can get pretty complicated and decorative with thread wraps, or just keep it completely simple. I like simplicity, and that's the way we'll go here. Silk thread can go translucent or completely transparent with the addition of rod finish, depending on the thread's colour. Nylon thread will remain opaque. Epic rods come with 2 different colours of thread, and it's possible to specify the colours during the order process. I stuck to the standards for this one, which are black and white. I like to use black on black carbon rods and completely transparent on more colourful fiberglass rods. All of my previous kits came with silk thread, and I've got plenty left over from those builds, but I've decided to go with the supplied nylon threads this time. We're going to use the kit packaging as a wrapping stand here and a fly tying bobbin holder to hold the thread. Since this is a compact travel rod in short sections, the stands are a bit close together for this rod, so I will put them a bit closer than they're supposed to be, and I can then secure them in place with some masking tape. To prepare for wrapping, I cut a few short pieces of masking tape and some short lengths of white thread. The black thread is prepared and a hole is made in the cardboard to hold the bobbin holder at a slight angle against the direction of the wraps. I start with the largest guide, removing the masking tape from the side of the guide that I will wrap first. The wrap begins 3mm beyond the end of the guide foot and is measured here with calipers. The tension on the thread should be just enough to hold the guide securely in place, but no more, as this will make the final guide alignment more difficult and prevent the thread finish from fully penetrating the thread. Once the wrap is complete on the first side, the masking tape is removed from the other side and the process repeated. Now let's have a more detailed look at how the wrap is made. The end of the thread is temporarily held in place as I wrap down to beyond the starting point. I then wrap back up, crossing over the thread and locking it in place, in a similar way to how thread is started on a hook in fly tying. I now want to close my wraps as I approach the 3mm mark. Instead of calipers, I'm using a 3mm packer piece to measure here. You could use anything, such as a piece of paper cut to the right size. With a few tight wraps beyond the 3mm mark, the end of the thread is untaped and pulled back under the wraps to bring the starting point to exactly 3mm. The tag end is then cut off close to the wraps. I continue wrapping up to the foot of the guide and then very carefully walk the thread up and onto the guide. This is the trickiest part of the wrap and is worth taking time over. I'm using a plastic stirrer here to help guide the thread. If gaps appear in the wraps, the thread can be pushed back together with a tool such as the stirrer. At a point around 8 to 10 wraps from the finish, a short length of doubled over thread is caught in with the loop pointing forwards. The final wraps are made, and with tension held on the wraps, the thread is cut with a short tag end. This tag end is slotted through the loop, and the tag ends of the doubled over thread pulled back, bringing the tag end of the wrapping thread back under the wrap and locking it in place. This tag end is then cut level with the wraps using a razor blade. As final steps to the wrap, I use the stirrer again to push the ends in, closing up any looseness and making those ends as straight as possible. I then burnish the thread, which is a light flattening, and again helps close any gaps. For this, you can use a burnishing tool, a plastic paintbrush, or, as I am here, a stirrer again. The ferrules are also wrapped in a similar way. The length of this wrap is a personal choice. I like to measure the length of the wrap from the largest guide and copy that to use on each of the ferrules. Sometimes a guide will be close to a ferrule, and here, the guide and ferrule wraps are combined into one. Once all of the wraps are complete, there will need to be some micro adjustment made to the alignment. This is a key step and something not to be rushed. It is recommended to align according to the reel seat and stripping guide, eyeing through the stripping guide to align the snake guides. Since I have my tip top glued on, I'm working kind of in reverse. The guides can be rotated slightly by gently pushing with your thumbnail. Once I've assembled the full rod and have aligned everything by sighting through the guides, the final check is made by placing the rod in the holders, guides down, and then looking down from directly above to see that the blank splits the guides equally the whole way down. Well, now that we have all of the thread wraps in place, all of our guides are perfectly aligned, it's time for finishing, and we'll do that in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in that one.